for 500 yards in a single season. Just an amazing effort that he gave to the Panthers and the fans that follow that team for all these last 9 years. He is an incredible player for the Panthers, and I think he will be a shoo-in for the Ring of Honor when that time comes.
Oh, man. And here's my thing. Impressive stats, Bruce Barrett, but it doesn't amount to the talent that he should have possessed, that he should have showed. Look, I'm not against Cam Newton. I was a time I liked Cam Newton, but do I think he's a showboat? Yes. Do I think he was blown out of proportion? Yes. Do I think people gave him too much money to expect him to be the great quarterback of the Carolinas? Yes. He did not produce what he needed to. And here's the worst thing of this whole topic. He was injured. And he still played. And let's be honest, Bruce, he put the rest of the team in jeopardy because he's playing hurt. You're not able to play to your potential when you're a quarterback. That's one of the dangerous spots. That's the top spot, kid, being the quarterback. That's the number one seed. That's what everybody wants to be when they're playing in the backyard, playing football. They don't want to be the running back. They don't want to be the wide receiver. They want to be the quarterback. Well, let's see here. Cam Newton, his talents, what he did, what he's done, not knocking him, Bruce, but he didn't deliver like he should have. And I think that's why Carolina has finally sent him the walking papers. And let's be honest, it's looking like he's going to hook back up with somebody that respected him dearly, Ron Rivera and the Washington Redskins.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree with you on some of that. I am looking back at his entire history with the football team there. I mean, he won an NFC championship. He made an appearance in the Super Bowl, just like Delhomme did, whose name is in the Ring of Honor.
That's right.
I'm just going and looking. He did more, not taking nothing away from Delhomme, because I think Jake was unbelievable.
Okay.
But I believe that that Cam Newton did that and some more. Was he a showboat? Yeah, he was. But I tell you one thing that I really liked, that I loved watching him do. After he ripped his shirt and did the Superman thing and stuff, he would take a football and he would find somebody in there and hand the ball to him, which cost him $1,000 every time he did that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And I mean, and I tell you another thing, the one that I remember the most is when he threw a touchdown pass to somebody and they caught it and he got the ball and he saw a kid who was no more than 5, maybe 6 years old with an Auburn jersey on.
Yes.
And he took that ball and he gave it to him. And he wasn't the one that scored. He may have threw it, but it was another player. And he saw that and he took his opportunity to give that kid that ball. I'll never forget that.
So, Bruce, in addition to the guests we have on coming up, including Trey Snyde, co-founder of yours truly at CRN Sports and our podcast. We want to talk about what we're doing coming up. We also have David Bagley of the Basketball League. He is the president. He is a former NBA player. Him and his wife, Evelyn, take care of the Basketball League, TBL. And we're going to talk with David Bagley about the season as we move into season 4, why he quickly jumped before anybody else did, before the colleges, before the professional sports. The TBL was probably one of the first to go. And, we're going to talk about why he made that decision. Also, beginning at 6:45 tonight, we're going to open up the phone lines for the fans. If they want to call in, if they want to sound off and agree or disagree with myself, Wesley, or Bruce Barrett, 919-585-5880. 919-585-5880. 5880, and you were going to be able to sound off. You were going to be able to call in and talk about what your thoughts are, what you think about things in regards to what's going on. So I will tell you that I did reach out to Mick Mixon of the Carolina Panthers Radio Network. I am still waiting to hear back from him, but of course we had to go live at 6 o'clock, so you snooze, you lose. We'll try to get Mick Mixon on for another time. I've got nothing against Mick Mixon. I've always believed he's just a better color guy. So I don't mean that in any disrespect. I just think that he's a better color announcer than he is play-by-play. But anyhow, hey, he loves what he does. He is the voice of the Panthers, and I respect that. But I don't know how long you've been around Panthers football, Bruce Barrett, but nobody could ever replace Bill Rosinski, in my opinion.
Oh, no. Well, I will tell you this. The two teams that came into the league were the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you know how I am about that, and the Carolina Panthers. So it was almost kind of a perfect rivalry, if you will.
Yes.
And if you remember, they actually played their first game in Canton. It was a preseason game, but that was one of the best Hall of Fame games that they ever had. It went right down the last play.
For sure.
I mean, we've been following Carolina. Obviously, now that I've moved from Jacksonville to here, I keep up with Jacksonville, but you got to keep your eye on Carolina because there's that little rivalry there.
We will be connecting with Trey Sneid here in just a moment. We are going to get his thoughts about what we are doing now. And Bruce, I will say this. You were all on board when we made the announcement last week that we were going to start doing something like this with podcasting.
Absolutely. We want to keep in touch with the fans. We want to give them the information that we're getting and put it out there to them because, I mean, that's our responsibilities as sports reporters. We need to keep everybody involved and let them know what's going on in the world of sports, even during this time. And it's all about our fans. It's all about our listeners. We want to communicate to them and let them know what's going on in sports.
Exactly. And again, a lot of things happen in the world of sports. And by the way, Bruce, I'm happy for you because I'm happy. First off, thank you for your service because you were in the military. Oh. Thank you for your service and what you've done for our country. I pray for all of our military, our National Guard, all of our first responders, all of the leaders of our government. I hope that what is that beeping noise? It sounds like popcorn's ready or something over there in that house. I pray for the leaders of our country. I pray for all of the people that have to make these tough decisions. And most of all, I pray for our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, into making the right decisions for what not is just best for Bruce or for me, but for our family, for our loved ones, for our children, for our children's children. As we deal with what we've never dealt with before, this pandemic, the coronavirus, we will prevail, we will overcome, and we will definitely have a bigger and brighter America. And for that matter, this is why we created the Sports Power Hour and Red Clay Life and, Full Throttle and all of these other podcasts that CRN is producing. We're going to take a quick time out. We're going to be back in 1 minute. Trey Sneid, co-founder of CRN Sports Network, joins us. This is CRN Podcast, and this is segment 1 of the Sports Power Hour. We'll be right back.
Unforgettables. Nice. This show sponsored by Unforgettables. Unforgettables creates detailed hand-painted baseballs for every baseball fan. Check them out at unforgettables.com.
Looking for a life insurance company that specializes in what you actually need? protection. Call Danny today with Symmetry Financial. Danny is certified in all 50 states, which means Symmetry Financial is not limited and has over 30 companies to choose from. Symmetry Financial has proved time and time again that their options and pricing is just better than the rest. Give Danny a call today at 828-994-1681 to see how Symmetry Financial can make life simple. This is CRN, the Community Radio Network, the voice of the community, the voice of anything sports, and proud to be the voice of the Comets. Follow us at crnsports.org. Now let's get back to the broadcast coverage on CRN.
Welcome back to the Sports Power Hour. Wesley Outland, Bruce Barrett. This is CRN Podcast. As always, follow us at crnsports.org. And remember, all of our shows, like the Sports Power Hour, Red Clay Life, coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern with yours truly, Wesley Outland and Mike Guerin. And Full Throttle for CRN Podcast, presented by yours truly and Brandon White, is all available live at crnsports.org. And in addition to that, on all of your podcast archive availability outlets like Spotify, Google Listen, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, iTunes Radio, TuneIn, and so much more. And CastBox. Trey Snide joins us on the program. Trey, what is your take, first off, of this new launch of CRN Podcasts, and secondly, Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton being gone?
Well, let's start with the beginning of that. The biggest aspect of it is we wanted a place where we can get our minds off of this crazy time period we're going through. We wanted a place where we could talk baseball, talk NASCAR, racing, NBA, football, all things sports. With everything we have going on in this world, it's so good to be able to kind of talk about something else besides what's wrong in this world. Moving forward with the Cam Newton situation, after
Yes.
the Carolina Panthers signed Teddy Bridgewater, we saw obviously the writing on the wall about, especially the Carolina Panthers put on the sending a trade, or to request a trade or whatever. But what you see is a Teddy Bridgewater is a smaller, more accurate, less injury prone. Although Teddy Bridgewater went through a career-ending injury, it was only one in his career. With Cam Newton, the last 3 years, we don't know what the heck we're going to get with Cam Newton.
Right.
And so we have to prepare for the future. And I'm not sitting here and saying that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the future, but at least you have a bridge gap for the next 3 years. If somehow P.J. Walker might come in from the XFL, which I think is fascinating.
And Bruce loves XFL football.
Absolutely. I'm missing that big time right now.
Kind of go back in history a little bit, back in my heyday, should you say?
Your younger
when the
days.
Memphis Maniacs, where he hates me, part of the Carolina Panthers. I still have a football from that game, and I lost a CD in a white Mustang in the back seat in Memphis, which is the Rascal Flat CD, one of the first, by the way.
I was walking
it goes back,
in Memphis.
Feels like 20 years ago.
You were walking. Was you singing "Walking in Memphis"?
Fascinating. Oh yeah, I lost my CD in a white Mustang in the back seat. Back then, the new Mustang had a CD player on the back seat.
Right.
And so I left my CD in that Mustang in Memphis, Tennessee.
Wow. So my question is this. Okay, so I think we're all in agreement here. It's time for a change. It's time for a change in Carolina. And here's the bottom line here. And Bruce, I know you'll agree. Trey, I know you're going to agree. When the team is not cutting the mustard,